Question 1. As a school head, you receive the capitation grant for the term. Describe the immediate administrative steps you must take to ensure accountability and proper utilization of these funds according to GES guidelines. Model answer. Upon receipt of the capitation grant, the head must immediately issue an official receipt to the releasing officer and lodge the funds into the school's designated bank account. The School Performance Improvement Plan, SPIP, must then be reviewed and approved by the School Management Committee, SMC, to guide expenditure. All transactions must be recorded in the cash book, and payment vouchers must be prepared for every expenditure to ensure a clear audit trail. Finally, the head must display the grant details and the SPIP on the school notice board for transparency. Question 2. You have noticed that the school's inventory of textbooks is depleting rapidly without clear records of their whereabouts. What specific inventory control mechanisms would you implement to arrest this situation? Model answer. I would enforce the strict use of the store ledger and issue voucher system. No item should leave the store without a signed store issue voucher authorized by the head. I would appoint a dedicated storekeeper or master on duty to conduct a physical stock taking at the beginning and end of every term. Additionally, I would mandate that teachers sign for textbooks issued to their classes and implementing a return before replenishment policy to ensure individual accountability for lost books. Question 3. Explain the purpose of the log book in a school setting and list 3 specific significant events that a school head is mandated to record in it. Model answer. The log book is a permanent, official record of significant events affecting the administration and history of the school. It serves as a reference for inspecting officers and future administrators. The head must record events such as the assumption of duty of new staff, the dates of official visits by circuit supervisors or directors, and any major incidents involving school infrastructure or serious disciplinary issues. It is a vital tool for institutional memory and legal verification of school activities. Question 4. A newly posted teacher claims there is no furniture for their classroom. As the school head, how do you handle this resource gap while waiting for government supply, ensuring teaching is not disrupted? Model answer. The head should first conduct an audit of existing furniture to identify any broken items that can be repaired using local artisans or community support. I would then consult the SMC and PDA to solicit voluntary contributions or materials for temporary repairs. If funds allow, a portion of the capitation grant allocated for maintenance could be used for minor repairs. Simultaneously, I would write a formal letter to the district directorate detailing the deficit to ensure the school is prioritized in future logistics distribution. Question 5. What is the significance of the School Performance Improvement Plan, SPIP, in financial management, and who are the key signatories required for its approval? Model answer. The SPIP is a strategic document that outlines the school's priority needs and how financial resources, specifically the capitation grant, will be utilized to improve learning outcomes. It ensures that spending is planned, relevant, and transparent. The key signatories required for its approval are the school head and the chairperson of the School Management Committee, SMC. Their joint signatures certify that the planned expenditures align with the school's agreed-upon goals. Question 6. A teacher in your school is habitually late and often leaves before closing time. Despite verbal warnings, the behavior continues. Outline the formal disciplinary procedure you would follow as a head. Model answer. I would start by issuing a formal query to the teacher, demanding a written explanation for the habitual lateness and early departure. Upon receipt of the explanation, if unsatisfactory, I would issue a first written warning, copying the file. If the behavior persists, I would issue a final warning. Should there still be no change, I would compile all documentation, including the query, warnings, and attendance register evidence, and submit a report to the district director recommending appropriate disciplinary action. Question 7. How can a school head effectively use the lesson note vetting process not just as a compliance check, but as a tool for staff development? Model answer. Instead of merely checking for completion, the head should review lesson notes to assess the variety of teaching methods, the suitability of teaching/learning materials, TLMs, and the alignment with the curriculum. I would provide written, constructive feedback on the notes, suggesting specific improvements or alternative strategies. Furthermore, I would use observation from the vetting process to identify common training needs and organize school-based in-service training, SBI, to address gaps in pedagogical skills. Question 8. You have a staff member who is hardworking but struggles with the new curriculum standards, Common Core. How do you support this teacher without demoralizing them? Model answer. I would adopt a mentorship approach by pairing this teacher with a more experienced colleague or a curriculum lead who understands the new standards well. I would observe their lessons specifically to identify their strengths and areas for growth, then offer positive reinforcement alongside specific guidance. I would also encourage them to attend cluster-based workshops and provide them with simplified curriculum guides. The goal is to frame the support as professional growth rather than remediation. Question 9. Explain the concept of clinical supervision in the context of a basic school and list the 3 main phases involved. Model answer. Clinical supervision is a face-to-face contact with teachers with the intent of improving instruction and increasing professional growth. It is distinct from general inspection because it focuses on specific teaching behaviors. The 3 main phases are the pre-observation conference, planning what to observe, the observation, collecting data during the lesson, and the post-observation conference, discussing the data and agreeing on improvements. This cycle fosters a collaborative relationship between the head and the teacher. Question 10. A conflict arises between 2 senior staff members regarding the use of the ICT laboratory. How do you resolve this conflict to maintain staff cohesion? Model answer. I would invite both staff members to a private meeting to hear their perspectives and identify the root cause of the conflict. I would then refer them to the school's timetable and resource allocation policy to find an objective solution. If the timetable is the issue, we would collaboratively revise it to ensure equitable access. Finally, I would emphasize the importance of teamwork and professional conduct, documenting the resolution in the minutes of staff meetings to prevent future recurrence. Question 11. A student is reported to have stolen a mobile phone from a teacher. The staff room is demanding the student be dismissed immediately. As the head, how do you handle this according to GES discipline guidelines? Model answer. A school head does not have the power to summarily dismiss a student. That authority lies with the Director General upon recommendation. I would first set up a disciplinary committee to investigate the issue and give the student a fair hearing. If a student is found guilty, I would apply an appropriate sanction, such as internal suspension or creating a bond of good behavior signed by parents. Dismissal is a last resort and must follow due process involving the Regional Disciplinary Committee. Question 12. With the ban on corporal punishment in Ghana, suggest 3 alternative corrective measures a school head can recommend to teachers for managing classroom disruptions. Model answer. Teachers can use withdrawal of privileges, such as denying the student break time to complete work or excluding them from a fun activity. Another method is community service, where the student performs a task like cleaning the chalkboard or tidying the classroom. Thirdly, referral for counseling is crucial. Understanding the root cause of the behavior often solves the problem better than punishment. The focus should be on behavior modification rather than inflicting pain. Question 13. A parent storms into the school and insults a teacher in front of the class for punishing her child. How do you manage this situation to protect your staff and the school environment? Model answer. I would intervene immediately, calmly asking the parent to accompany me to my office to discuss the matter away from the students. I would firmly state that while we welcome parental concerns, abusing staff is a violation of school rules and will not be tolerated. After de-escalating the situation, I would listen to the grievance, investigate the teacher's action, and facilitate a respectful dialogue. If the parent remains aggressive, I would ask them to leave and potentially involve the SMC or security if necessary. Question 14. What is the school head's responsibility regarding the Safe Schools policy, particularly concerning gender-based violence, GBV, or harassment? Model answer. The school head is the primary custodian of the Safe Schools policy. I must ensure there is a clear reporting mechanism for students to report harassment anonymously. I am responsible for vetting staff and visitors to ensuring student safety. I must also organize sensitization programs for both staff and students on what constitutes GBEV. Most importantly, I must act promptly on any report, ensuring the victim is protected and the perpetrator faces legal and administrative consequences, regardless of their status. Question 15. A brilliant female student stops coming to school. You hear rumors that she is pregnant. What is your administrative and ethical duty in this scenario? Model answer. My duty is to ensure the student's right to education is preserved under the reentry policy for pregnant schoolgirls. I would visit the student's home to confirm the situation and counsel the parents and the girl, assuring them that she is welcome to continue school as long as she is physically able and can return after delivery. I would ensure she is not stigmatized by staff or students and provide the necessary emotional support to keep her in the education system. Question 16. The community surrounding your school often uses the school pitch for funerals and leaves it littered. How do you engage the community to solve this problem without creating hostility? Model answer. I would approach the school management committee, SMC, and the traditional council or community leaders to discuss the issue respectfully. I would acknowledge the community's need for space, but highlight the health and safety risks the litter poses to their own children. I would propose a formal agreement or memorandum of understanding, MOU, where the community can use the facility provided they pay a deposit for cleaning or undertake the cleaning themselves immediately after events. Question 17. Define the role of the School Management Committee, SMC, versus the Parent-Teacher Association, PDA. How do they differ? Model answer. The SMC is a statutory body representing the government and community, responsible for the general policy, management, and welfare of the school, including approving the SBIP. The PDA is a voluntary association of parents and teachers focused on the welfare of the students and providing financial or material support to the school. While the SMC has a governing and oversight role, the PDA plays a supportive and fundraising role. The head advises both, but takes directives on policy primarily from the SMC. Question 18. You have been posted to a school where the relationship between the staff and the head was toxic. What are your first steps to rebuild a positive school culture? Model answer. I would begin by holding a general staff meeting to introduce a vision of fresh start and open communication. I would schedule one-on-one meetings with every staff member to listen to their grievances and aspirations without judgment. I would prioritize transparency in decision-making and ensure that committee roles are distributed fairly. By modeling respect, punctuality, and fairness myself, and by celebrating small wins and staff efforts, I would gradually rebuild trust and morale. Question 19. How can a school head leverage speech and prize-giving days for strategic stakeholder engagement? Model answer. These events are not just for awards. They're a prime opportunity to showcase the school's achievements and needs to a captured audience of parents, alumni, and local dignitaries. I would use my report to highlight specific successes to build confidence, while clearly articulating the school's strategic challenges to solicit support. Inviting successful alumni as speakers can inspire current students and reconnect old students for fundraising. It is a tool for marketing the school and strengthening community ties. Question 20. Parents are refusing to pay PDA levies, citing the government's free education policy. How do you handle this misconception? Model answer. I would clarify during a PDA meeting that while the government covers tuition and core inputs, capitation grant, it does not cover every project the parents might wish to undertake for their children's comfort. I would emphasize that PDA levies are voluntary contributions agreed upon by parents themselves, not school fees. I would ensure the PDA executive leads this explanation to avoid the perception that the head is charging unapproved fees. Transparency in how previous levies were used is key to winning back their trust. Question 21. You discover that a senior teacher has been collecting unapproved fees from students for extra classes during instructional hours. This is a clear violation of GES policy. How do you proceed? Model answer: I would immediately order the cessation of these classes and the collection of money. I would issue a formal query to the teacher to explain their actions. Based on the response, I would issue a strong written warning and mandate the refund of all collected monies to the students. I would then sensitize the entire staff on the GES policy regarding extra classes and unapproved fees. If the teacher is recalcitrant, I would report the matter to the district director for further sanctions. Question 22. What are the code of conduct implications for a school head who habitually absents themselves from school to attend to private business? Model answer: a school head is the chief accounting officer and the primary supervisor. Habitual absenteeism is a breach of the code of conduct regarding duty of care and professionalism. It constitutes abandonment of post and sets a poor example for staff, leading to a breakdown in school discipline. Such a head is liable for misconduct charges, which could lead to demotion, loss of salary for days absent, or removal from headship. The head must lead by example. Question 23. Explain the principle of in loco parentis and how it applies to a school head's daily duties. Model answer: in loco parentis means in the place of a parent. Legally, when students are in school, the head and teachers assume the rights and responsibilities of a parent. This means the head must exercise the same standard of care for the safety, health, and well-being of the students that a reasonable parent would. This applies to supervising break times, ensuring safe infrastructure, managing sick students, and protecting them from bullying or harm. Question 24. A political figure wants to use your school premises for a campaign rally during instructional hours. How do you respond? Model answer: I would politely but firmly decline the request, citing GES regulations that forbid the use of school premises for political activities during instructional hours as it disrupts the academic work. I would protect the neutrality of the school environment. If they insist on using the facility on a weekend, I would refer them to the district education office for clearance, ensuring that I do not unilaterally authorize an activity that could be viewed as partisan or disruptive. Question 25. What is the admission register, and why is it considered a permanent record? Model answer: the admission register is a statutory book that records the details of every student admitted into the school, including their date of birth, parent details, and date of admission. It is a permanent record because it serves as the ultimate proof of a student's education for future references, certification, and legal verification of age or identity. Unlike an attendance register, which is renewable, the admission register is preserved indefinitely as part of the school's history. Question 26. As a school head, you need to procure food items for the school feeding program or teaching materials. Explain the role of the school procurement committee in this process. Model answer: the school procurement committee ensures transparency and value for money in all purchases. The head cannot unilaterally award contracts. The committee must vet quotations from at least 3 different suppliers to compare quality and price. They recommend the best provider based on these criteria. This process prevents nepotism, corruption, and the purchase of substandard goods, ensuring the school's funds are used efficiently. Question 27. Is a school head permitted to vire or transfer funds from one budget line item to another within a capitation grant? Explain the procedure. Model answer: virement, or moving funds between budget lines, e.g., from sports to maintenance, is generally restricted and requires approval. A school head cannot simply move funds at will. If a critical need arises, the head must prepare a revised budget and present it to the School Management Committee, SMC, for justification and approval. Unauthorized virement is considered a financial irregularity and can lead to audit queries. Question 28. What is the store ledger, and why is it a critical document for external auditors? Model answer: the store ledger is a book that records all consumable and non-consumable items received into the school and issued out. It tracks the date of receipt, quantity, source, and the recipient of the items. Auditors rely on it to verify that items paid for, as seen on payment vouchers, were actually delivered to the school and used for legitimate purposes. A missing or poorly kept ledger suggests ghost purchases or theft. Question 29. A vendor offers you a personal appreciation cash gift after you award them a contract for school repairs. How do you handle this ethical dilemma? Model answer. I would firmly reject the cash gift. Accepting it constitutes a kickback or bribe, which violates the GES Code of Conduct and public procurement laws. It compromises my integrity and my ability to hold the vendor accountable for the quality of work. I would document the incident, and if the vendor persists, report them to the procurement committee and consider blacklisting them from future contracts. Question 30. You discover that the enrollment figures submitted for the capitation grant were inflated by the previous head. What is your immediate course of action? Model answer. I would immediately correct the data in the current records to reflect the actual headcount. I would then write a formal report to the district education office stating the discrepancy found upon my assumption of duty, ensuring I am not held liable for the falsification. I would not spend the excess funds generated by the ghost names, but would seek direction from the district on how to return or reallocate the overpaid amount. Question 31. A parent brings a child with a mild physical disability to your school for admission. Some staff members suggest rejecting the child due to a lack of facilities. How do you respond based on the inclusive education policy? Model answer. I would admit the child immediately. The GES Inclusive Education Policy mandates that no child should be denied education based on disability. I would educate the staff on our legal and moral obligation to accommodate the learner. I would then assess the school environment to make reasonable adjustments, such as moving the child's class to the ground floor or assigning a peer support system, while petitioning the district for specific resource support. Question 32. What is the difference between a scheme of learning and a weekly lesson plan? And why must a head check both? Model answer. The scheme of learning is a long-term plan derived from the syllabus that breaks down the curriculum into terms and weeks for the whole year. The lesson plan is the specific daily breakdown of how a topic will be taught, including objectives and activities. The head must check the scheme to ensure curriculum coverage is on track, and a lesson plan to ensure the teacher is prepared for the specific delivery of that content. Question 33. Teachers are complaining that the new curriculum requires too many teaching and learning materials, TLMs, that the school doesn't have. How do you solve this resource constraint creatively? Model answer. I would organize a TLM production workshop where teachers use local, low-cost, or discarded materials to create aids, improvised TLMs. I would encourage the formation of subject-based teams to share resources rather than every teacher working in silos. Additionally, I would engage the PDA to help collect specific recyclable materials from the community. The focus is on improvisation and creativity rather than waiting for government supplies. Question 34. How do you ensure that the co-curricular activities, sports, and culture are not neglected in favor of purely academic work? Model answer. I would ensure that co-curricular activities appear on the master timetable and are strictly adhered to, not treated as free periods. I would appoint capable coordinators for sports and culture and require them to submit a termly plan of activities and a budget. I would also institute inter-class competitions to generate excitement. Recognizing that holistic education is a GES mandate, I would monitor these sessions just as I monitor classroom lessons. Question 35. A teacher requests to use the lecture method for a Basic 2 class, claiming it saves time. As a head, how do you correct this pedagogical error? Model answer. I would explain that the lecture method is developmentally inappropriate for Basic 2 learners who require concrete, activity-based learning. I would refer the teacher to the creative pedagogies outlined in the new curriculum, such as play-based learning and group work. I would then demonstrate or arrange a demo lesson showing how to use child-centered approaches that engage learners actively, explaining that saving time is not as important as ensuring understanding. Question 36. A female teacher applies for maternity leave. What are her entitlements regarding the duration of leave and her salary? Model answer. A female teacher is entitled to 12 weeks, 3 months, of maternity leave with full salary. This leave can be taken partly before and partly after delivery. She is also entitled to an additional period of leave if there are complications, certified by a medical officer. Upon resumption, she is entitled to nursing hours, closing earlier than usual to nurse her baby, typically for a year, depending on local arrangements. Question 37. A staff member comes to school drunk. This has happened twice. What is the appropriate disciplinary action? Model answer. Drunkenness on duty is a serious misconduct. I would immediately prevent the teacher from entering the classroom to protect students and the school's image. I would issue a query demanding a written explanation. If it is a repeated offense, I would form a disciplinary committee to investigate. Based on the findings, I would forward a report to the district director recommending serious sanctions, which could include interdiction or summary dismissal, while also suggesting counseling if it is a medical addiction issue. Question 38. You have a floater staff member, a teacher who has been declared surplus due to low enrollment. They are demoralized. How do you manage them effectively? Model answer. I would reassure them that they are still a valuable part of the team. I would reassign them to meaningful roles such as managing the library, overseeing guidance and counseling, or supporting remedial reading for weaker students. I would also encourage them to use the time for professional development or research. It is crucial to keep them engaged and feeling useful until the district arranges a formal transfer to a school where their services are needed. Question 39. Two teachers are constantly quarreling in the staff room, creating a toxic atmosphere. How do you mediate? Model answer. I would call both teachers to my office immediately to stop the public spectacle. I would remind them that the staff room is a professional workspace, not a personal battleground. I would listen to each side separately, then bring them together to find common ground. I would make it clear that while they don't have to be friends, they must maintain professional civility. If they cannot, I will separate their seating arrangements and duties to minimize contact. Question 40. What is the appraisal system in GES? And why should a head conduct it even if the teacher is not due for promotion? Model answer. The staff appraisal is a continuous performance review system, not just a promotion tool. It helps identify a teacher's strengths and weaknesses, training needs, and potential for leadership. Conducting it annually ensures that teachers receive regular feedback on their performance, setting targets for the coming year. It provides a documented history of performance that protects both the teacher for awards and the administrator for disciplinary evidence. Question 41. A neighbor is encroaching on the school land, building a kiosk near the classroom block. The community seems indifferent. What steps do you take? Model answer. I would first check the school's site plan and documentation to confirm the boundaries. I would invite the encroacher for a dialogue to formally inform them of the trespass. If they refuse to move, I would officially report the matter to the district director and the district assembly, who control physical planning. Simultaneously, I would engage the chief and elders of the community as custodians of the land to intervene. I would avoid physical confrontation personally. Question 42. Food vendors sell food to students during break. How do you ensure the food is safe and does not cause food poisoning? Model answer. I would insist that all food vendors undergo a mandatory medical screening to ensure they are free from communicable diseases. I would form a school health committee or assign a teacher to inspect the food covering, the cleanliness of the serving area, and the hygiene of the vendors daily. I would also hold periodic meetings with the vendors to educate them on hygiene standards. Any vendor who fails to comply would be banned from the premises. Question 43. The school toilet facility is full and has become a health hazard. The district assembly is delaying in emptying it. What is your immediate solution? Model answer. I would immediately close the facility to prevent use and the spread of disease. I would arrange for a temporary alternative, such as a mobile toilet or negotiating with a nearby facility, if possible. I would then escalate the pressure on the assembly by involving the SMC and PDA to write or visit the assembly. If funds allow, and with SMC approval, we might hire a private sewage company to dislodge it and seek reimbursement or classify it as an emergency sanitation expenditure. Question 44. What are the key components of a school disaster management plan regarding fire outbreaks? Model answer. The plan must identify exit routes and assembly points which are clearly marked. It requires the availability of fire extinguishers that are serviced regularly. It includes a schedule for regular fire drills, simulation exercises, so students and staff know how to evacuate calmly. Finally, it lists emergency contact numbers, fire service, ambulance, posted visibly in the office and staff common room. Question 45. You notice the school compound is eroding due to heavy rains. What low-cost measures can you implement with the students? Model answer. I would organize a tree planting exercise or plant vetiver grass along the slopes to bind the soil. This can be done as a practical agricultural science lesson. We could also use stones to create simple barriers or check dams and gullies to slow down water flow. I would engage the community to help dig proper gutters to channel water away from building foundations. This serves as both an environmental solution and a civic responsibility lesson. Question 46. Why is the cumulative record card essential for a student transferring to another school? Model answer. The cumulative record provides a holistic history of the student, not just academic marks. It includes information on their health, behavioral traits, special talents, and attendance history over the years. This allows the new school to understand the whole child immediately and provide continuity in support, placement, or counseling without starting from scratch. Question 47. You're being transferred to another school. What must be contained in your handing over notes to the incoming head? Model answer. The notes must include the current state of finances, bank balances, cash book, debts, the staff list with their ranks and roles, and the student enrollment data. It should list all school assets and inventory, furniture, equipment. It must also highlight ongoing projects, unresolved disciplinary or land issues, and pending correspondence. This ensures a smooth transition and protects the outgoing head from future liabilities. Question 48. Explain the channel of communication for a teacher who wants to petition the Director General of GES. Model answer. The teacher must route the letter through their immediate supervisors. The letter is addressed to the Director General, but it goes through the head of school, then through the district director, and through the regional director. Each supervisor must stamp and minute on it, indicating they are aware of the content. Skipping these steps constitutes a breach of protocol and usually results in the petition being rejected or returned. Question 49. A teacher refuses to fill the time book upon arrival, claiming they are always punctual. How do you address this administrative lapse? Model answer. I would explain that the time book is a legal document required for auditing and salary validation, not an insult to their punctuality. I would clarify that if an accident happens or a query arises, the time book is their primary evidence of being present at work. I would insist on compliance as a non-negotiable administrative rule. If they continue to refuse, I would mark them absent for those days, which will impact their validation and salary. Question 50. What is the role of the circuit supervisor, now often called School Improvement Support Officer (CISO), and how should a head relate to them? Model answer. The CISO is the liaison between the district education office and the school. Their role is to monitor standards, provide instructional support to teachers, and ensure government policies are implemented. The head should view the CISO as a partner in development, not a police officer. The head should be transparent with school data, seek their advice on difficult administrative issues, and ensure their visit recommendations are implemented to improve school performance. Question 51. Your school management committee, SMC, is inactive and rarely meets, yet their signature is required for SBIP approval. How do you revitalize this body? Model answer. I would visit the chairman and key community opinion leaders to explain the critical role the SMC plays in the school's development and legal compliance. I would organize a sensitization meeting to reorient them on their constitution and responsibilities. If specific members are permanently unavailable, I would work with the community to conduct a by-election to replace them. To sustain interest, I would ensure meetings are concise, refreshments are provided where possible, and their contributions are publicly acknowledged. Question 52. Explain the concept of professional learning communities, PLCs, as introduced in recent GES reforms, and what is the head's role in it? Model answer. PLCs are weekly, school-based sessions where teachers collaborate to study the curriculum, prepare lessons, and solve pedagogical challenges together. The head's role is to schedule these meetings within the timetable, usually Wednesday afternoons, and ensure they actually happen. I must monitor attendance, provide the necessary materials, curriculum guides, manuals, and occasionally sit in to ensure the discussions focus on improving learning outcomes rather than general chatter. Question 53. During the BEAS or an end-of-term exam, a teacher is caught helping students answer questions. As the chief invigilator/head, what is your immediate action? Model answer. I would immediately remove the teacher from the examination hall to restore the integrity of the test. I would confiscate any evidence, cheat sheets, or foreign materials, and allow the exam to continue under a new invigilator. I would generate a written report on the incident, attaching the evidence and the teacher's statement. This report would be forwarded to the district director and WAC, if it is an external exam, for the appropriate sanctions, which often involves the cancellation of the paper and disciplinary action against the staff. Question 54. What is the ESBV, Electronic Salary Payment Voucher, validation system? And what happens if a head fails to validate a teacher? Model answer. The ESBV is an online system where heads of institutions confirm that the staff on their payroll are actually at post and working. If a head fails to validate a teacher by the set deadline, usually around the 24th of the month, that teacher's salary will be suspended for that month. Therefore, it is a critical monthly duty. The head must only validate staff who are present. Validating a teacher who has vacated their post is a criminal offense known as salary fraud. Question 55. Your school is a beneficiary of Gallup, Ghana Accountability for Learning Outcomes Project, funds. How does the utilization of these funds differ from the regular capitation grant? Model answer. While capitation grants are general operational funds, Gallup funds are strictly tied to specific learning outcomes and quality improvements. The utilization must follow a specific Gallup accountability framework. The funds are usually targeted at remediation for weaker students, purchasing supplementary readers, or teacher training on targeted instruction. The head must provide distinct evidence of improved learning outcomes, like test scores, to justify the continued receipt of these funds. Question 56. A tragic incident occurs. A student collapses and passes away while playing on the school field. How do you manage this crisis to prevent chaos? Model answer. My first priority is to rush the student to the nearest hospital for medical confirmation while securing the other students in their classrooms to prevent mass panic. I would immediately inform the district director and then the parents of the student, ideally in person or with a senior staff member. I would not announce the death to the student body until the family and authorities have been notified and I have received clearance. I would then arrange for counseling for the students and staff who witnessed the event. Question 57. The teacher unions declare a nationwide strike. As a school head, what is your position and duty during this period? Model answer. As a head, I am part of management, but I may also belong to a union. However, my primary duty is the security of the school infrastructure and any students who might report to school unaware of the strike. I must remain at the post or ensure the administration block is secured. I cannot force teachers to teach if the strike is legal, but I must document the situation. If the school is a boarding house, I must ensure that kitchen staff and security personnel continue to work to care for the students. Question 58. You identify a conflict of interest regarding a supplier who is the spouse of a school bursar. How do you handle this? Model answer. I would bring this to the attention of the procurement committee immediately. While being a spouse doesn't automatically disqualify a vendor, it poses a high risk of collusion or bias. I would require the bursar to recuse themselves from any decision-making regarding that specific contract. To protect the school's reputation, it is often safer to avoid such suppliers entirely unless they are the sole provider of that service in the district. Transparency is my guiding principle here. Question 59. You are asked to draft a vision statement for your school as part of your promotion interview. What are the key elements it must contain? Model answer. A strong vision statement must be aspirational, clear, and student-centered. It should reflect the core values of a GES: access, quality, inclusion. For example, to be a model basic school that provides holistic, inclusive, and quality education, producing disciplined and functionally literate citizens. It needs to address academic excellence, character development, and the school's relationship with the community. Question 60. Why is delegation of authority considered a strength in a school head and not a sign of laziness? Model answer. Delegation is a tool for succession planning and capacity building. By assigning duties to assistant heads and senior teachers, the head empowers them to learn leadership skills and prepares them for future roles. It also prevents the head from burning out by focusing on strategic issues rather than minor operational details. Effective delegation involves assigning the task, giving the authority to execute it, and holding the person accountable for the results. Conclusion. You have now completed 60 comprehensive practice questions covering the administrative landscape of a GES school head. Regular review of these scenarios, combined with your study of the GES Code of Conduct and the Education Act, will ensure you are well prepared for your promotion interview and aptitude test. Good luck!